Groceries are too expensive, and I don't just mean a little bit. Every single trip feels like this gamble between what you can afford and what you actually need, and yet somehow we continue to walk through those sliding doors every single week like the price of food is just out of our hands and we can't do anything about it. But what if I told you that the real cost of grocery store convenience isn't just in your wallet? It's in who controls your food, who controls your choices, and eventually your ability to feed your family at all. Grocery stores were not designed to keep your food cheap. They were designed to keep their margins high. And we can see that in the actual numbers. If we take the US beef market, just 4 big companies now control 80% of steer and heifer slaughter. In meat, more broadly, those same companies, it's Tyson Foods, JBS, Cargill, and the National Beef Packing Company, they are behind over 70 to 80% of branded meat that you are buying under different labels. That box of brand X chicken or that box of branded sausage, different design, different labels, but it's the same parent companies. The choice is an illusion built for your cart, for your eyesight, but not really for your budget. When a handful of companies grab that much control over supply, over pricing, and over what gets stocked, you really lose negotiating power. You also lose freedom because the grocery store, it becomes more of a one-way relationship where you show up, you buy what is there for you, or you go hungry. And if your household budget is already tight, then this isn't just academic. It means that the costs go up. You're the first to feel it, and you're also the very last to benefit from it. For me, this realization hit hardest in 2020. I was already interested in self-sufficiency before 2020, but that was the year where I started to get pretty hardcore. I had a 3-month-old baby in my arms, and I remember turning on the news and everyone saw that viral clip where you had national commentators, serious, influential people who were suggesting that families did not deserve access to grocery stores if they didn't comply with a very particular mandate that we all know. That moment stopped me cold because I realized if someone can use food as leverage, they have way too much power in my life. They have way too much power in my family's life. It really wasn't even about fear. It was just the general awareness. I started to see how deeply vulnerable we had become as a nation, not just medically or politically, but logistically. If I couldn't feed my baby without permission, I wasn't free. And that's when everything changed. I started learning where my food actually came from, who owns it, and what would happen if that system ever decided that my family was no longer worth serving. Now, grocery stores are not evil, but I will say they are built for a different purpose than what most of us assume. They are not in the business of feeding families or showcasing the best food that your community has to offer. They are in the business of distribution, and I think it's important that we all know that. A grocery store is a logistical hub inside of a very complex supply chain, and every decision from what's grown, how it's packaged, shipped, how it's displayed in the store, it is optimized for efficiency, not for your nourishment. Efficiency in this world means standardized products that can survive cross-country trucking, months in storage, or time on fluorescent aisles with 1,000 identical stores. That is why nearly every product on the shelf is engineered for shelf life, not for your nourishment. When you buy local, you cut that entire machine in half. You don't need preservatives, vacuum-sealed packaging, and the 2-week freight buffer. You just need a grower and a buyer, and then a short drive between them. Local food systems don't depend on complex logistics. They depend on community logistics. And the difference between the two is enormous. So it's not that grocery stores are bad. It's just that they were never designed for what we think they're doing. They're optimized to move goods, not to nourish your family. Once you see that clearly, you realize why your groceries feel expensive but somehow empty. It's because the system was never built for your food to nourish you. I've mentioned a few times, my family is on a journey of being more self-sufficient in terms of food. And when I first started cutting ties with the grocery store, I actually noticed something pretty strange. The less I relied on the grocery store, the calmer my budget felt overall. I wasn't chasing sales or fighting shortages, and I wasn't buying groceries every single week. We started baking bread, making broth, stocking the pantry with real food, not packaged staples. And it wasn't about becoming a full homesteader. It was just about building optionality for us, because for me, that is the real goal of self-sufficiency. I never want anyone to be able to use my basic needs against me. For you, if you can, I would find a local co-op, a farmer, or even a neighbor who raises something. And the good news is you actually don't have to wait for anyone's permission to start building your own local community food. You can begin with one meal, one habit, and one shift toward taking back control.